Italian Renaissance furniture is going to be, well, really opposite of what we saw during the medieval, the Romanesque, and the Gothic. First of all, it is generally designed to be monumental. Now, whereas during the Middle Ages, people tended to, or at least the wealthy, tended to have multiple homes, and they didn't really move things back and forth, and if they did, it was because of a multi-purpose space, but it led to fairly small pieces. Here in the Renaissance, they are creating massive pieces. Everything is a show of status. Every piece of furniture is a show of status. And the wealthier you are, the more ornate the piece. I mean, look at what we have here. We have incredible relief carving. We have sculpture nearly in the round. We have incredible scenes and architectural elements coming into us from all directions. Now, they will have less furniture than we do today. For example, you might have maybe 2 or 3 pieces of storage furniture in a well-appointed middle-class house. But it's going to be as fine as possible. It's the sort of thing that is meant to represent you, but also meant to be passed down from generation to generation. You'd often commission someone to do this. You're not running down to the Italian version of Walmart and picking something out made of particle board. So when we look at the pieces, they tend to be highly finished and highly polished. The same sort of skill and effort that we see going into Renaissance art goes into the furniture as well. Why? Because there's incredible competition. We have lots of people in the middle class and the upper classes who are all seeking to commission art, to commission murals in their homes, to commission architectural elements and furniture, which means you're drawing in all the best furniture makers, and they all have to create amazing work in order to compete in that space. So we get incredible pieces from the front. But if you were to take one of these pieces and turn it around, you would find that things are not quite what it seems. Generally, the workmanship is very good, but to our eyes today, we would see something that is very difficult. For example, if I am faced, from an appraisal perspective, with a piece of furniture with a drawer, the first thing I do is pull out that drawer and look at how the back of it is attached. If it's attached with a single dovetail, then that might be 17th century, and then things kind of get better from there. At this time during the Renaissance, there is no standard. Dovetails would look very roughly cut. You might have 1 or 2 of them, and everything looks very rough if it isn't on display, if it isn't something that the consumer would see on a regular basis. So there is that sort of juxtaposition between craftsmanship where they'll cut some, they'll take some shortcuts at times, but only in places where the client won't likely see it. And by the way, who's going to see it anyway? Probably their servants, not the client. The client's going to look at it from the outside, but they're never going to go digging through the drawers. Now, we also see the development of fine upholstery and cushions. Now, oftentimes this upholstery will be tapestry that's been imported. It may be using fine silks. And with antique furniture, very old pieces such as this, it's actually expected that the upholstery will be changed over time. So it never really affects the value as long as it's reasonable and it doesn't destroy the fabric or the wood frame of the piece. Their use of upholstery and cushions is, again, a status symbol. Look at the fabrics I can use. Look at the materials that I can afford. Most of the furniture will be walnut, at least the high end. The reason is walnut is a dark, so that dark color is really attractive to them. Just like today we tend to see a lot more natural wood, in the Renaissance we see walnut. And we see those cycles going back and forth between different places and over time. Now, walnut is also fairly easy to carve, which means I can create these very ornate pieces, and it holds a good polish. It stands up well to age, so it's a very attractive wood. We will see cheaper woods used, for example, in monasteries where items have to have a very pragmatic function. They have to serve a purpose, do a job, rather than being purely aesthetic. In other cases, something like this, a cassone, which is going to be painted, plastered, gilded, etc., they might use cheaper woods.